The barista has made your coffee every Tuesday morning for almost 3 years. She knows you order a medium black coffee, no sugar, no oat milk, no name written on the cup, because you always say you're not going far. She knows you sit by the window, open the same black notebook, and leave before 8:15. She knows your first name. She does not know you own the building, not the coffee shop. The whole row, the coffee shop, the pharmacy next door, the upstairs dental office, the small yoga studio with the plants in the window, and the parking lot behind the alley that clears $7,200 a month from people who don't want to walk in the rain. That's the point. It's Tuesday, 7:31 a.m. You're standing near the counter while Maya slides your cup across the bar. "Still black coffee?" she asks. "One day I'll surprise you. You've been saying that since 2023. You smile, tap your card, and drop $2 into the tip jar. Not flashy, not cheap, just forgettable. Your phone lights up beside the card reader. Message from Elaine, your CFO. Quarterly reconciliation complete. Personal net worth estimate, $109.4 million. You turn the phone face down before Maya can see it. She nods toward the screen. "Work already?" "Unfortunately." She laughs and turns to the next customer. You take the corner table. Outside, a delivery driver is blocking traffic with the confidence of a man who has accepted being hated. A woman in a gray coat fights with an umbrella. Across the street, a gym owner is taping a handwritten "card machine down" sign to the door. You know that gym is behind on rent. You also know the owner's wife had twins in March, and the business would probably survive if nobody squeezed him for 6 months. So you text your property manager. "Freeze rent increase for Unit 4B. Quietly. Payment plan if needed." 3 dots appear. Then, "Understood." This is how most of your life works now. You touch something, and nobody sees the hand. It started 18 years ago with vending machines. Not a startup. Not an app. Not some dramatic idea you explained on a podcast. Vending machines. You were 32, working dispatch for a regional trucking company outside Columbus, Ohio. Your job was mostly answering angry calls, tracking late drivers, and pretending delays caused by weather were somehow your personal fault. You had $14,800 saved. Your car had a cracked windshield. Your rent had gone up $90, which bothered you more than it should have. One Friday night, you saw a listing online. Vending route. 19 machines. Owner retiring. Must sell. No good photos. No clean branding. Half the words misspelled. You almost closed the tab. Then you saw the location list. Small factories. Auto shops. A county office. 2 medical buildings. Places where people worked long hours, forgot lunch, and paid too much for snacks because walking outside took effort. The seller was named Roy. 74. Bad knees. Perfect records. He had handwritten notes on everything. Which machines sold out first? Which mechanic shop hated trail mix? Which office manager complained every February? Which building had a janitor who would unplug the machine if you didn't bring him ginger ale? You paid $38,000, most of it borrowed. Your mother called it gambling. Your brother called it buying other people's candy problems. For the first month, he was right. A machine jammed at a body shop. Another swallowed $3 from a nurse who left you a voicemail so cold you kept it for motivation. A factory manager threatened to cancel because someone stocked barbecue chips instead of sour cream and onion. You worked your dispatch job during the day and restocked machines at night. You learned that every boring business has 2 parts. The thing people see, and the person quietly making sure it doesn't break. By month 9, the route cleared $3,400 after expenses. By year 2, you had 57 machines, a used cargo van, and a part-time helper named Luis who could fix a coin mechanism with a screwdriver and bad language. You still told nobody. At first, because it sounded too small. Then, because it started working. And when something starts working quietly, you protect the quiet. The vending route bought your first laundromat. The laundromat was ugly. Flickering lights. Old machines. A change machine with a handwritten sign that said, "Hit twice." The previous owner had stopped caring years before he stopped collecting quarters. But the location was perfect. 3 apartment complexes. 1 bus stop. No competitor for half a mile. You bought it for $164,000 with seller financing and fear in your stomach. The first 6 months were rough. A washer flooded. A dryer smoked. A woman yelled at you because the machine ate $5, and she said, "This is why people hate rich owners," while you were wearing a shirt with bleach on the sleeve and wondering if you had made the worst decision of your life. But you fixed the lights, added card payments, cleaned the floors, put in cameras that actually worked. Profit went from $2,100 a month to $12,800. The laundromat bought a second one. The second helped buy a small janitorial supply company. The supply company introduced you to office buildings. The office buildings introduced you to parking lots. And parking lots, you learned, are one of the few businesses where people pay you because they are already annoyed and don't want to become more annoyed. Paint the lines. Fix the lights. Keep the machine working. Collect. By 45, you owned laundromats, vending routes, 2 supply warehouses, 4 small retail buildings, 3 parking lots, and a boring maintenance company that made more money than most restaurants people brag about owning. Still, nobody at family dinners asked about it. They thought you were doing something with facilities. That was close enough. At 8:04 a.m., Maya comes by with a rag and wipes the next table. "You see, they might raise rent on this block," she says. You look up. "Who said that?" "My boss. New owner bought everything last year. Probably some investment group. Could be." She shakes her head. "This place gets expensive. I'm going back to nursing school." You almost say your boss signed a 5-year lease with fixed increases. You don't. Instead, you say, "Nursing school's not a bad plan either." She laughs. "That's such a dad answer." You're not a dad. But you take it as a compliment. At 10:22 a.m., you're in a hardware store buying a $9 faucet washer because your kitchen sink drips at night. You could call someone. You don't. A small fix that stays small feels like a luxury. Your phone buzzes. Elaine again. Pharmacy tenant is 60 days behind. Want legal notices? You stare at the faucet washers. The pharmacy owner's husband is sick. Their daughter works the register after college classes. You know too much now to treat every late payment like a spreadsheet problem. Not yet, you text. 6-month plan. No penalties, Elaine replies immediately. That is not the strict answer. No, but it may be the correct one. That's why Elaine has lasted 9 years. At 1:15 p.m., your friend Darnell calls. Darnell is excited, which usually means danger. He has discovered a co-working franchise. Low overhead, he says. Recurring revenue. Community. Remote work is huge. You close your eyes. Words like community become expensive when printed in franchise documents. He wants to borrow against his house. You don't offer money. Offering money would turn the friendship into a loan with jokes attached. Instead, you say, "Send me the documents." That night, you read 186 pages at your kitchen table. The territory clause is weak. The required furniture package is absurd. The renewal fees look harmless until year 5, which is where bad deals like to hide. You send him 7 questions. 2 days later, he calls. "Man, you saved me." "No, the paperwork did." "How did you know where to look?" You look out the window at the coffee shop lights 2 blocks away in a building everyone thinks belongs to a faceless investor. "I read a lot," Darnell laughs. "You're weird." Yeah. At 4:40 p.m., your property manager calls about the empty unit beside the pharmacy. A boutique fitness studio wants it. High rent. Nice branding. Terrible parking plan. You say no. "They'll pay above asking," he says, "for a year. Then they'll fold and leave mirrors glued to the walls." He pauses. "There's also a bookstore owner getting pushed out on Mercer." "How long has she been there?" 21 years. Offer her the unit. She can't pay market. Then don't charge market. For how long? 1 year. Step-ups after that. Anonymous? Always. At 6:18 p.m., you're home. 14th floor. 1 bedroom. Good view. Old cabinets. Your sister once called the place simple, which is what family says when they are worried you are not doing as well as you should be. You heat soup on the stove. Elaine emails the final report again with the subject line, "For records, $109.4 million. You read it barefoot on cold kitchen tile while your sink drips every 40 seconds because the washer you bought was apparently not the right size. This is where people imagine the music starts. It doesn't. The soup bubbles over. You curse, grab a towel, and move the pot. There is no grand feeling. Not really. Just a quiet mental click, the way a long calculation finally balances. Somewhere below you, Maya is closing a coffee shop in a building you own. The pharmacy gets time to breathe. A bookstore owner is about to think she got lucky. Darnell still has his house because he did not sign something stupid. That is what the money bought, not attention. Distance. Distance between trouble and panic. At 7:31 the next morning, you're back at the coffee shop. Maya sees you and lifts a cup before you even order. Black coffee? One day I'll surprise you. No, you won't, fair. She sets the cup down and nods toward the vacant unit next door. Did you hear? A bookstore might move in. That right? Yeah, good for them. New landlord might not be evil after all. You take the coffee. Low bar, she laughs. Outside, the city moves at its usual speed. Delivery vans, wet sidewalks, office workers pretending they aren't late. Your phone buzzes. Elaine. Potential seller, regional fire safety inspection company. Owner retiring. Clean books. Wants quiet buyer. You stop near the window. Open your notebook. Fire safety. Owner retiring. Clean books. The beginning of another boring thing. Maya calls from behind the counter. You forgot your receipt. You turn back. Keep it. She waves it in the air. You always keep receipts. Not today. She smiles like this is the most interesting thing you've ever done. Nobody turns to look at you. Nobody should. You walk outside with your coffee, cross the street, and disappear into a morning full of buildings that know your name, even when nobody else does.